On the beat so twicky, bitch.
What it is, your boy Snow's best friend. You with another connected franchise here. This time once again with the Detroit Lions. It's weeks 7 through 9, and we play the Minnesota Vikings. As you can see, we got the dub against. Oh no, I'm sorry. We got cracked against the Redskins, 30-17. Wasn't the best game. Our time of possession was terrible. We need to fix that if we want to win some games. Kirk Cousins had an amazing game. Matthew Stafford, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Not going to get the job done. Moving on to the next game against the Houston Texans. Once again, we got a bad loss. We're on a 2-game losing streak now. That's not going to get us to the playoffs.
Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
Well, okay then. I think Jim Moore said it great. So let's get right into the gameplay here against the Minnesota Vikings. Let's get it.
52, you get a look inside the impressive new U.S. Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. Today, it's a Week 9 matchup set to go here between the Detroit Lions and the Minnesota Vikings. Hi again, everyone. Brandon Gaudin alongside Charles Davis. And Charles, you look at this Vikings ball club. They come in feeling good after back-to-back victories.
And if you look back to last week, it was all about their defense. Anytime you hold an NFL team to single digits, that's saying something.
Meanwhile, for the Lions here,
Hey, first play of the game, Matthew Stafford looking. Single coverage down the field. He's got a man. Who is it? Anquan Bolden down the sideline. Breaks the tackle all the way down to the Minnesota Viking 12-yard line. That's a great first play for the Detroit Lions off of a 2-game skid. Onto a 3rd and 7 for the Vikings. Matthew Stafford thinks he has single coverage in the end zone with the golden tail with the fade, and it's intercepted. And that's going to cut the drive off short. Detroit will not get any points for the first drive. Onto a 3rd and 1 for the Minnesota Vikings in the I formation. Sam Bradford gives it to Adrian Peterson, and he's stuffed in the hole on 3rd and 1. That's going to be a 3 and out, and a great stop for the Detroit defense that's been performing great all season. That brings us to a 2nd and 3 for Stafford and the Lions, and he finds Eric Ebron wide open in man-to-man coverage, breaks a tackle down to the 44, and that's going to end the first quarter. Detroit moving. Onto a 3rd and 10 for the Detroit Lions. 5 wide, looking for the wheel route. He's got a man. Golden Tate can't make the catch. That would have been a spectacular catch if he could have done it, but it's going to be incomplete, and Detroit's going to have to punt. Onto the 3rd and 11 for the Vikings. Sam Bradford in a single back set. He's looking 4 verticals. Looking, he goes down. That's going to be a coverage sack for Kerry Hyder Jr. And that's going to end the drive, making it 4th and 16. Moving on, Matthew Stafford's faced with a 3rd and 7, commanding his receivers to do a couple different routes. Stafford doesn't find anyone open. He scrambles. Is he going to run? No, he's got Golden Tate. And that's a great throw, great catch for the first down to the 23, almost in the red zone. Later on, at the 21, 2 minutes left in the second quarter, he's looking, and he throws a terrible pass into basically quadruple coverage to Golden Tate, and that's going to be another interception in the end zone, stopping the Detroit Lions drive once again, and it's still 0-0. Detroit now faced with a 1st and 10, looking, man-to-man coverage, got Marvin Jones Jr. down to the 9, 42 seconds left, and Detroit's going to take a timeout. On to the next play. Matthew Stafford under center, looking, got Anquan Bolden once again, and he's in the end zone, touchdown, 21 seconds left, and Detroit has the first point of the game. In the 3rd quarter we go. A bunch base sent for not Matthew Stafford, but Sam Bradford gives it to AP, and what a shot through the gap goes DeAndre Levy for a TFL. That was an amazing play, untouched. To the next Lions drive, Matthew Stafford fakes it to Amir Abdullah, looking, throws it right to the linebacker. It's like he didn't even see him, and that's Stafford's 3rd interception of the game. It's going to be a bad one to throw, as Minnesota's in field goal range already. Onto a 3rd and 14, Stafford in a single back set. He's looking, has all the time in the world, just feeds it to AP, and that's just going to be an easy 4th down, and Minnesota's going to try and settle for 3. Next drive for Matthew Stafford, making some audibles at the line. He stretches out to Amir Abdullah, and he uses his speed to get to the 1st down marker, and Moore breaks a tackle. He breaks a couple tackles and evades a player, and that's going to be an easy first down for the Detroit Lions. Great blocking on the play. Stafford deep into Minnesota territory on 3rd and goal. The curl route to Golden Tate, and that breaks the plane of the goal line, and that's going to be a touchdown for Detroit as they go up 2 scores. 17 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. That's 13 seconds left. 11-10. Not Matthew Stafford, but Sam Bradford finds a wide open man at the 49-yard line for the Minnesota Vikings. That's going to end your 3rd quarter.
3 quarters in the books. We'll return with more after this break. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. And we return, welcoming you back to Minneapolis. It's the Vikings in possession of the football, but they need some points. They're trailing here to start the 4th.
1st and 10 for the Minnesota Vikings, starting off the 4th quarter where they left off. Screen pass to Adrian Peterson. He has blockers. He's down the sideline, and there's a penalty flag on the play, but that's going to be a touchdown for Adrian Peterson. Let's see what the flag is. And it's going to be a illegal block in the back on Minnesota, and that's going to take them all the way back on Willie Beavers. Onto the 3rd and 10 for Sam Bradford in the shotgun. Another screen pass, looking, it's not open, and he gets sacked. Hello, Kinada. Once again, the defensive monster. Lions were forced to punt after a 4th down, or after a 3rd down stop. And that's a deep punt. It's going to be hit down at the 3, and it bounces inside the 1 back to the 2. And that's going to be a great punt for Detroit. Terrible field positioning for Minnesota, and that's going to be rough. Out of 2 minutes now for the Minnesota Vikings. Sam Bradford drops back, looking for the seam. He has a man, wait, and that should have been intercepted, but the safety or the cornerback just didn't jump, and that's going to be Cordell Patterson's first touchdown of the game, and that keeps it a little bit interesting here with the minute 15, and Minnesota has 3 timeouts left. But wait, here's a booth review. Let's see what they call. They're seeing if Cordell Patterson had 2 feet in. The call on the field did stand, so Minnesota's going to have to go for 2 to make it a 3-point game easier for the kicker. And the I formation. Detroit looks like they're sending everyone, and they get there. Adrian Peterson fighting as hard as he can, but that's just not enough. Detroit holds for the 2-point conversion with the minute 15. And Detroit ended up getting the onside kick, meaning they just had to run the ball out. So the final score of this game would be 14-9. Great division win for the Lions and a great comeback after 2 straight losses in the previous weeks. And they can take this jubilation here from this week into next week here, where they have a bye week before another great matchup comes up. As you can see, Matthew Stafford had a decent amount of yards throwing per game, or this game, but he had a subpar game in total because he had 3 interceptions and 2 touchdowns. But as you could see, Eric Ebron and Anquan Bolden Golden Tate respectively had 6, 5, and 4 catches. That's great. And as you can see, the rushing yards, passing yards, we dominated basically in the entire game other than the turnovers. We even had better 3rd down conversion as well. But that's going to wrap up this week 9 matchup against division rivals Minnesota Vikings. If you guys like this, please leave me a like, comment, share, and subscribe. It is much appreciated as we head into week 10, our bye week. I'll see you guys then. If you guys, like I said, if you guys like this, please leave those likes, comments, and shares, and subscribes. But other than that, X knows best. Signing off.
Tell me pretty lies.